As always, welcome to the Auburn Township Board of Trustees meeting and participating in local government. We appreciate it. And let's start with the approval or corrections of the last meeting's minutes. There should be another set of minutes for that special meeting that we had. Okay.
You didn't get a copy?
I did not. So, let's see, Record Retention Committee, emergencies, to discuss our. Okay. Well, there was only two people at that.
I was gonna say,
myself and Fred, and
by statute, that's how that works.
yeah, okay, so
I need both of you.
So we can't do it unless Fred's here.
Okay,
So we'll have to do it at the next meeting.
as for the regular meeting, I'll make
Yeah.
a motion to approve. I went through them, I didn't find any corrections. If anybody else has anything, throw it in.
BJ, anything?
I do not have any.
I don't have any, so I'll accept the motion to approve the minutes. Oh, you already gave one,
Mike
Mike,
made
a
the
second,
motion.
please.
I'll second.
DJ seconds. Call for the vote, Dave?
Mike,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go on to guest. Brandon Tripp from BPI Information Systems is here. Brandon, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I wanted to go over the proposal that I submitted about a month ago to you. I heard there were some questions with it. If it's okay, I'd like to review it with everyone. Sure. So I did bring updated copies for people. If anybody needed fresh copies with this, are we all okay?
A lot of numbers and big words on that, we don't understand.
That's
That's why you're here.
Thank you.
Would you like to see one?
Sure, if you want, that's sure.
Hello, Diane.
I need a little file, hold on.
Okay. Everybody else good?
Well, give me one just so I can get the definition of the big words.
Sure.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
As soon as you see all those big numbers, oh yeah, I remember this now.
Okay, thank you. So first it was brought to my attention by Chief Phillips a couple months ago that the township was looking for updating their computer systems. You referred BPI to come in and take a look at things, so I'm representing BPI Information Systems. As a little bit of a background for BPI, we've been in Northeast Ohio since the late 70s. Since the year 2000, we built and have been located in Brecksville, Ohio, so we are local to Northeast Ohio. Me personally, I've been with BPI 9 years in January. Little history behind us. Originally, we were from the Detroit area, heavily focused in the automotive industry in the 60s and 70s. The automotive industry kind of started experiencing some turmoil, and our original founder decided that we needed to diversify and get out of Detroit. Hence, we are here in Northeast Ohio now. BPI managed service provider. Like I said, we've been in the area since the late 70s, specializing in local governments, schools, and small businesses. That's our three main pillars. We do have 3 technical divisions in our building. The engineers, they're the high-end ones that do servers, switches, storage, Wi-Fi. Our PC technicians, pretty self-explanatory. You got a computer problem, come out and help you. And then we have our managed service division, that does all of our monitoring, updating, patching of servers and sorts. So a little bit behind BPI. If you wouldn't mind, I'd like to dive into the quote for what we are proposing here. So the first line item, HP server licensing and warranty. Now originally I kind of wanted to discuss the plan of how this was going to work. Right now you guys have a small amount of IT in the break room. My proposal was to remove the IT equipment from the sink area and relocate it to, I believe that's the copy room right there. With that, we were going to mount a small networking cabinet on the wall so it's up out of the way, and in there is going to go your server and the firewall. So that way it's out of the way, it's up, it's secure, you can always close that door, lock it, keep it away. So the first line item, HP server. What I quoted out was a small tower server that can be rack mounted with plenty of space and power to power the environment. With that plan, I wanted to take everybody's township computer and put that on the server and make it centralized. So instead of everybody having their own personal PC with just their data on it and everybody having to share data, I want to take that data and put it all in one place. That way it makes it more secure, we can kind of lock it down a little bit, and people can have remote access to it if they need be with proper security protocols that we will implement. And with that too, we'll be able to back it up more efficiently as well to make sure that no data is lost. But line item 1, that's the actual server, and it has the Windows licensing on there too. So we have our server license, we have our user licenses, and then just to make sure that we keep things up and running, BPI has provided a 3-year, 4-hour part and labor response to it. So if anything happens to the server, we actually keep parts in Brecksville ready to go to fix it when needed. Anybody have any questions with the server portion of it? I know it was a lot of information thrown at you, but please just speak up if you have any questions regarding it. Okay. The next line item is the Barracuda 390 backup unit with 1-year support. So when we put all that data on the server, we got to make sure it's backed up, just in case somebody has an oopsie, they accidentally delete something. Heaven forbid, a sprinkler goes off or the building gets hit by lightning and destroys the server, we have a good backup of it. With that backup, you're going to have a small backup unit that's going to be in that cabinet with the server, so you're going to have a physical copy of it, and then we're also going to have a cloud copy of that too. So you have that situation where something happens to the building, your data is secure offsite in Barracuda's vault. Now those vaults, they're used to handling government data, they have all the certifications if you guys need those, their SOC reports, everything, so the data is secure up there and encrypted, so it will not fall into wrong hands. But the way that the Barracuda is set up, anything happens to the unit, we make a phone call to Barracuda, they actually put your data back on to a new backup unit and ship it overnight here. So we could have your data back on site very, very quickly and get you back up and running. Any questions with the backup unit?
Very nice to have when you have ransomware going on.
Yes. We can also say that, Auburn Fire Department does have a similar backup unit, if not, I believe it, is it the same one at 390?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the same backup unit the fire department uses. BPI is very comfortable with how it's used. We use them every day.
All right, now, can I interrupt there? Could you explain how that works with ransomware?
Well, I'm sure you've seen it on the news quite a bit, but we've had a few government entities. They're going after government entities
Chester
in
Township, got it.
schools
Yeah.
and hospitals right now. So what they do is that they can gain access to your network and get into it. They can delete your hard drives or wipe your data. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Absolutely.
And you might not have a way to get back into your system. It might just be all gone. And what they do is they usually send you a message that says, call this number if you want to get your data back. But they give you a number and you got to pay them to get your data back. Some places have been really steep as far as what they're paying. Thousands of dollars to get their data back. We've had a couple townships here in Geauga County, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
I get the hardware stuff, I just want you to tell me what we're paying for here with this other.
Yeah, and the way, as a service provider over the years, we've tinkered and practiced and do best practices with how to set these units up too. So when this unit is set up, we're actually going to put it on a separate network from what the actual server is on. So that server is going to back up to it, but if somebody gains access to your server, whether it be ransomware or just maliciously they want to delete everything, they don't have access to the backup unit. It's on a completely separate virtual network and they won't see it. So it's kind of a fail-safe that something happens to that server, we can restore it real quick like Chief said.
All right, let me just ask this question now. So if someone goes in and hacks us and steals our information, are we saying they can't steal it, or if they do steal it, we still have it? What are we saying here?
if they do steal it, we still have it.
So
you wouldn't have to pay the ransom.
but they have our information now.
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay.
That's a separate conversation.
It is,
We'll-
okay.
We'll try to prevent that.
You remember at the last meeting I mentioned about having a good firewall? That's part of the
Right.
package here.
Okay.
Any other questions with the backup unit? Okay. The next line item on there that's not in bold is Aruba Instant On 1960 switch. This switch is more of a business class, enterprise class networking switch that our guys would like to implement so that we can kind of create different networks that I'm talking about, with having the backup unit on a different network and having the server on a different network. Also, it gives us the ability to manage the switch too, so we can kind of see what's going on with each individual port. Gives us the ability to be a little bit more flexible. If there's any networking problems, we can troubleshoot a lot easier. And that's what that is. So,
Brandon, what's the speed capability of the switch?
you're 1 gig. Well, technically, if a person is plugged into it with a PC, you're gonna have 1 gig connectivity. It does have the capability though to go to 10 gig for your internet connection. So generally, switches, networking switches, last anywhere from 5 to 7, if not more years. So we put this thing in, we're kind of future-proofing it so that when the internet speed increases even more in a couple more years, this switch has the ability to handle that. So right now, I believe your switch is limited at 1 gig. This can actually go up to 10 gigs. So you're getting 10 times the amount of speed capability as your current limits there.
Okay.
The fiber optic line is pushing 500.
And with that, on the second page, top line item, that is a Fortinet FortiGate firewall. So business class, enterprise class firewall. Your current firewall, I believe, is just a Linux-based system that's kind of homegrown. We want to put something in there that's a little bit more secure. Fortinet is our go-to firewall that our guys like working with. I mean, we've sold tons of these things. You see them in school systems, you see them in cities. We personally use one at DPI. They're a great, great security device. This is actually going to give us a little bit more protection in the environment too. So what I mean by that is it's going to go actively block threats before they come in. So this firewall will talk to corporate. Corporate then feeds all the information to the firewall of what they're seeing in real time. If there's a threat that emerges out there that got cooked up overseas somewhere and they are notified of it, it instantly goes down to your firewall and blocks stuff. So it's really on the active protect. With this as well too, this is going to provide us with a VPN solution. VPN is virtual private network. So are people familiar with what a VPN is? Okay. So we're going to put a VPN client on the township's computers. So if anybody would like to work from home, they have a secure connection back to the building. They're not going over the open internet. They have a secure private connection to the building so that they can access things remotely.
With their own computer or with?
You could do it with your own computer if they'd like to put that on there, but I do have laptops quoted out for
Okay.
here. I actually have it on both. Like personally, I have my work laptop has the VPN client on it. If something was to happen to my laptop, I do have my personal laptop at home that we can have the client on and rock and roll with it. It's very flexible. But that also gives us a lot of control of who can come in and come out in a nice regulated manner. We only want these people to have access to stuff outside of the building, and we can control that a lot easier with this, and it's a lot more secure than just coming in through a remote desktop or a log meeting thing. So that's included with the firewall, and also, I mean, we can have web filtering is put on that as well too. So if you want to control the websites in the township, we can do that too with this. So we can harden this thing as much as you guys want, and also make it less restricted too. But when it comes to security, we like to kind of harden the protocols a little bit. We don't want you going to gambling websites. We don't want you going to pornography websites, gun stores, that type of thing. We just kind of keep it for business only, and there you go. But that can all be controlled with whatever you like. Any questions on the firewall? Okay. Next item is the triplet wall unit, just a networking cabinet, pretty self-explanatory. It literally is just a cabinet that we're going to put all the equipment in. Eaton UPS battery. You guys have a generator on the building. This is just to get us over the hump until the generator kicks in. So imagine this is kind of like 2 or 3 car batteries stuck together. And it's gonna give time for your server and everything to make sure it changes over to generator so that nothing shuts down.
Also provides spike protection too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's got a line conditioner on it, so like I said, buildings hit by lightning, it's not gonna fry your equipment then. It's got a surge protector built into it. We could make those as big as you want. I mean, I have some, customers that they don't want it to go down for over an hour. I think if you have a generator, that's extremely overkill. This should give us probably around 5 to 7 minutes of runtime. So if the generator hasn't kicked on by then, my thought is something is wrong anyways. And it is what it is. Next line item on there, BPI 70 hours, network integration, block time services. That is my company BPI's estimated time to do the entire project. Broken out, what we're planning on doing, put the server in the closet, set up the firewall, set up the switch. You'll see later down in the line items too, there's PCs and monitors. We're gonna help set those up. But really the crux of these hours, setting up the server, all of your data right now is scattered among all the PCs. And we're gonna take those PCs and get that data to sync up to the server. So a lot of the hours are built in of getting that to work. Also, a good chunk of the hours too is making sure that the end users understand the equipment that they're using at this point and kind of guide them through where to save things, where to find things, and go from there. Next line item, the BNT. BNT it stands for Business Networking Team. They're located out of North Royalton, Ohio. They are BPI's preferred vendor when it comes to cabling. We will need their assistance on this. They will be the ones mounting the networking cabinet in there. They are also going to run new lines from the cafeteria where all the networking equipment currently is and run lines over to the new server room over here. So we will be subbing that work out to them, and that is their estimate with that total. The next couple line items are PCs. Wanted to take this as an opportunity to kind of standardize the environment. Everybody has the same PC. That way, if anybody has a problem, we know exactly what they have, what equipment they're currently working with. BPI is also an authorized repair provider for HP Inc. So anything happens to those PCs, it would be BPI taking care of them as well. So the end user doesn't have to worry about it. With the laptops on there, I do have a USB dock. Everybody familiar with what a docking station is? Are there questions on that?
You can tell me what it is. What is it?
Docking station?
Yeah.
Basically a little hub that sits on your desk, and that's going to act as the power source for your laptop. It's also going to have these monitors connected to it as well, so they can have multiple monitors running, and all they have to do is just plug in one little cord to the laptop. So makes things a whole lot easier on the end user when it comes to coming and going. If they're going to take these laptops home or take them somewhere else, all you're doing is just plugging one item in. It makes it very fluid. Okay. Questions on the hardware? Because we're going to move into the managed services piece now where BPI is offering.
What are we how many are we talking? 3? You?
8 monitors. Where are those
What are we
going?
talking?
2 laptops and
Who's getting the laptops?
Fred and I.
Okay. Now, is this gonna affect Nancy and Jane?
They'd have, what, 3, is it 3?
3 desktops.
3 desktops.
So
Service
there'll be one
garage.
here. Service garage gets one, okay. And what about
Jane and Nancy.
and Jane and Nancy? You guys will use the laptop. Okay. You don't need a hard,
No.
What are the 8 monitors to?
Dual mine.
Yeah, a couple users wanted dual monitors. I don't know who those users were off the top of my head. Do you remember?
I think Fred and I.
Okay.
Or and maybe, no, maybe Jane. I'm not sure.
It's nice to work with because you can pull some stuff up and have it over here and go back and forth without having to switch screens. Once you get used to it, it's really beneficial.
we don't need one. No.
8 though? That's, I guess I'm saying that's 8.
Well, if you have 3 people that are using dual monitors, that's 6 right there.
Okay.
And we can adjust that, I mean, we can do a final count, this is from our walkthrough the other day, so I mean, we can verify what users are getting them and adjust the count if need be.
The service grads, that'd be 2, 4, 6, 8, is that what we're talking about?
I'm not sure exactly.
Service garage, as far as monitors go,
Yeah.
just one,
And I think Nancy
M's
just wanted,
office.
And what did Nancy want?
I think she just wanted
Probably
one.
one.
So that doesn't come up to 8.
Well,
But anyway.
Jane two,
We told them to plan for probably the worst case scenario. We knew that we could cut some back, but we had an initial meeting, there was a lot to cover, as you could see. And we wanted to get something started, and if it looked good, then we'll sit down and refine it to a closer number, depending on what everybody wants.
Okay, go ahead.
So the final piece on here is our managed services offering, and I kind of condensed that into bullet points for you of what's in there. The first item on there is Office 365. That includes 5 Microsoft Business Premium licenses. These are nonprofit prices as well too. Broken out, that's $5.50 per user per month. And you can look that up on the Microsoft website, that's what it is. What that's going to provide from a business premium standpoint is we're going to take the email is currently hosted by somebody else. Part of that 70 hours is going to be us taking the current email and hosting that in Microsoft Exchange's cloud, so it's going to be in Microsoft 365 at that point. The business premium license also provides Office apps on the desktop, so it's kind of like leasing a car. You're always going to have the latest and greatest Office app on the PC at that point, so we never have to worry about falling behind from an Office license standpoint.
which would be what, Word, Excel,
Word, Excel, SharePoint,
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint. Also included with this is SharePoint and OneDrive. In the future, we're going to start having the users start to utilize those resources a little bit more too. It can be up to them. We haven't kind of finalized a company policy per se of what you want to save, but each user gets a terabyte of space provided by Microsoft that they can store stuff to. OneDrive would be the best example of that. Any questions with the Microsoft piece? Okay. BPS server monitoring and help desk. What we're going to do is we're going to take care of that server remotely from a proactive standpoint. We're going to put monitoring software on it, so our team's going to see that thing 24/7. BPI is staffed from 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday, but our alerting is 24 hours a day. So if something happens to that thing overnight, as soon as our team comes in at 7:30 in the morning, we see that server is down, we automatically just start going to work on it. And make sure we get that thing up and running. Part of the package 2 with the monitoring is we're going to actively supply Microsoft updates to it and make sure those get installed every week. So anytime Microsoft releases a firmware update or a security patch, our team makes sure that those are applied so that it's safe and secure as much as it can be. Help desk is included with this too. Working with the team, we've decided that 4 users would probably be utilizing it the most. It sounds like the service garage probably doesn't need it, so the 4 office workers in here. What that provides is unlimited remote support. So if there's any questions with the Office apps or they can't get something to work properly the way they want it to, they can call us, shoot us an email, we help them remotely. So anything that goes wrong, they just pick up the phone, call us, we help them. If for some reason anybody needed to come on site and it wasn't a warranty-related issue with a piece of hardware, that would be billable time. But 95% of the problems we handle remotely without a problem. Any questions with the monitoring piece?
Yeah, what's the breakdown on that? You gave us the first one, was 5 users, at $5.50 per user per
I'm
month.
sorry, I don't have that off the top of my head. I should have wrote that down, but
Is that based on users then?
it's based on server count and users. And I can send an updated email with that price broken out so you guys can follow.
You were, kind enough to bring the first one, so yeah, I think I want to see that.
questions with the monitoring or help desk?
Yeah, in your bold column, the first column,
Mhm.
probably a dumb question, but what does MFA stand for?
Okay, on the next line item, gonna jump to that one then, underneath the server monitoring.
Yeah,
Okay, so one of the options we're providing as well, MFA stands for multi-factor authentication.
okay, thank you.
Are you familiar with multi-factor?
No,
Okay, so when you go to log in to, and we can set it up a couple different ways, but no matter what, we want to make sure if you're accessing email from the outside of the building, or if you are accessing the VPN client, we want to have multi-factor turned on. What that is that verifies who you are. So on your cell phone, it can send you a text message, it can give you a phone call with a code, or like we use a push notification where it just kind of sends an alert to my phone. We have an app that we're going to use called Cisco Duo, and you're just going to approve it on your phone, and it unlocks the PC. So if your password accidentally falls into the wrong hands and somebody tries to log into your account, it's another safeguard that they can't get in. Does anybody do any online banking? So when you log into your bank online, do they force you to get a text message with a code? That's exactly, it's pretty much what this is.
No.
My bank does. Not, it's kinda
Every
nice.
time you log in,
Yep.
you have to have a code to
Yep.
get in? No. Right, that's-
You can turn it off. Sometimes you can turn it off.
If you have like an investment site, like Fidelity or anything, I mean, they make you do the same thing as well too. BPI uses Empower for our 401k, so every time I log into that account, it says, do you want me to call you, or do you want me to send you a text message with a code? And you choose which one, and it lets you in there.
Of course, when you only have $35 in the account, they say, we can't waste the phone call.
You can look at my account.
Even I've come across
See, I have access.
I've come across it with vendors when you're paying bills online. When you log in, they require.
Yeah, this is one of the controls we want to put in place to help make everything more secure, so that we don't have that crypto ransomware and somebody deleting your data and getting in. Just one of the roadblocks we want to put in place to help prevent that.
Not only that, but if you're not trying to get access and you're getting those texts, you know somebody's trying to get access to your account.
That raises a question I'd like to ask.
Sure.
You have a couple laptops in here that can be taken home or used elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
If one of those laptops becomes infected
Mm-hmm.
and comes back into the building, it's bypassing your firewall. Is that going to be a way to take care of that?
So one of the next items on here is BPI is providing antivirus as well. So we're going to have software that sits on the PC that if anything malicious sits on there, it's going to find it right away. There are going to be two things that are going to happen. First off, BPI is going to get an alert to our managed services team that they found an infected piece of hardware. Our managed services team looks into it. The software is automatically going to start getting it off the PC. We verify that it's off the PC from the ticket to make sure that it did its job. Good.
No, that's it.
There's more stuff that we can put in here too. There's a plethora of things that, I mean, we could lock this environment down as much as you want, but we also, I don't want to burden all the users up front. I think it's going to be a slow process that we start putting these controls in place, and we can go down the security rabbit hole more as they get comfortable with the change. Because I mean, this is going to change how they do things a little bit, and I don't want to throw too much at them at once. Included the options as well. Since we're going to be going to Office 365, we want to make sure we have good backups with that too. So we're backing up the server, but then we're also going to be taking backups of Office 365 in the cloud. So all your emails will be backed up at that point. So that way if somebody does get control of your email inbox and they go and delete everything, and then like Chief said, gives you a call and says, hey, I deleted everything, I got your data, you better pay up or we're not letting you go. We have backups of that so they can't do anything. If they start storing stuff up in the cloud too, utilizing services such as Microsoft OneDrive or Microsoft SharePoint, we're backing up those as well. So we're protecting the environment as much as we can. That if, and I don't want to say from a malicious standpoint, but somebody accidentally, fat fingers a key and deletes a bunch of stuff by accident and doesn't realize it, we can get that back.
Why doesn't somebody develop something that can pinpoint where that hacker came from and then blow him up while he's sitting in his desk? Just a thought.
Come up with
CIA,
that.
kind
You
of
have more than $30,000 in your account.
I think it just depends on what stuff you get into. It determines the size of the bullet that comes at you afterwards. You take down an entire, East Coast or something, I'm pretty sure the NSA and CIA would be knocking at your door at that point.
You should hope. When these guys hack these hospitals and say, you're closing down everything in the hospital, putting thousands of lives in danger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem hunting them down like dogs.
As a personal story, I was at a conference in May. We were down in Phoenix for one of our large distributors, and they have you never know what's down there, but they have what's called their cyber range. And what this does is they actually actively go out and hire professional hackers. And they have their own little building, and they buy like all this equipment on here. They use their own money, and they go buy all these different manufacturers' equipment, and they set it up, and they just turn these guys loose and try to break it. And so these guys are on the defensive where they find out vulnerabilities before the bad guys do and go patch them. And they're the ones that actually actively train hospital staff that, hey, you're under attack, what do you do? Kind of like how, with the fire department, you train all the time, or police officers, they train all the time. When an incident happens, these guys actively train government agencies, hospitals, municipalities to make sure that they know how to protect that, and if something does go wrong, not to panic and actually do your job and get rid of it. So we do have a lot of guys on our side that are going after the other guys and giving them a taste of their own medicine and stuff, so it was very comforting to see. And the one guy actually broke into a nuclear sub. He's not allowed to leave the country. I'm dead serious about that. If he leaves the country, he gets a phone call, and the host nation kicks him out shortly after. Not that he did anything wrong, it's just they don't even want him in the country. True story. Okay. Any questions with the multi-factor, the antivirus, or the cloud backups? Okay. And those are all managed by our team too, so if there's any problems with them, it's all covered under that help desk and managed services invoice that comes up. So somebody accidentally deletes something, you give us a call, shoot us an email, hey, I can't find this file from 3 days ago, or I can't find this email from 4 days ago. Give us a call, we help you find it, restore it, away you go.
Okay, $863 a month is pretty hefty. I'd like to see a breakdown on it. We'd have to have that, and as to what that would be per line item there.
I wanted to try to make this as high level as possible because all my sheets will break that down for you, but if I handed you 5 different sheets with all these different pricing on it, it would have just derailed the whole conversation. But I will send you an updated line item with each amount, what that would be.
And the managed services is separate from the $38,000 quote, correct?
It's on there, like my quoting software will build that into the subtotal, but if you subtract that 863, that's what the.
So you only get the 1 month added there, though?
Correct, that's your monthly cost, that 863. And with the last line item on the managed services too, we're gonna manage that Barracuda backup for you, where our team is gonna check that thing every day to make sure that it's doing what it should be doing. And every 90 days we do a test restore. So we're not just sitting there checking it, yep, everything looks good, everything looks good. Every 90 days we actually will go take a file and do a test restore to make sure that it actually comes back where it needs to be. So we verify everything with it.
Are you currently doing anybody in Geauga County? Right
So
now?
on the last page, I put a list of references on there that I think are pertinent to our conversation. Geauga County, I'm trying to think of my lines here. The closest ones to you guys are going to be Pepper Pike, Bedford Municipal Court, and City of Eastlake.
So nobody in Geauga County?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of Geauga County. We do work in Geauga County, but not with the municipalities, more service-based stuff. I know we've talked to Kensington High School a few times, but Geauga County in particular, I guess would be Cuyahoga Lake.
Okay.
done some work with Duramax Marine, I know they're over in, is that Geauga County? Over there by Great Lakes Cheese?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we do some work with those guys over there. So we do work in Geauga County, but not from a municipality
Like,
standpoint.
for these, roughly how many stations are there with each of these, Pepper Pike, Bedford Municipal Court, roughly speaking, compared to what we've got?
They're much larger. Much
Well,
larger.
see, I
Like
think
City
that's
Pepper
what,
Pike,
you know-
we're looking at the police department as well as the staff. So these companies are
Yeah, well,
definitely much bigger.
As I said, mentally that hit me is that, we pretty much know we're at the horse and buggy phase, and we're like, okay, we're ready to get up to an automobile now. And when we look at this, I don't know, I see space shuttle here. We kind of left there seemed to be a gap in there, for the amount for what we do. My IT guy took a look at it, and his only comment was that everything looked good here. He says, I know what you guys do there, that's a lot of horsepower.
What we're doing from the server standpoint is I want to make sure that we don't have to touch this thing for 5 to 7 years. So we invest in it right now, and we don't have to touch it for 5 to 7 years. I don't want to put, if we're moving to an automobile, I don't want to put a 20-year-old automobile that needs to be fixed every year in here. I want to make sure we put something business class, enterprise class in that's just going to work, and people can do their jobs, and then you're not going to see me for 7 years.
We made that mistake when we first started our network down at the fire department, and we paid for it dearly. Because once you got it set up, I got to go back in there and redo everything. It was a problem.
Yeah, I have no problem. I mean, I would prefer to have a system set up. Pretty much anything we've done recently is, we're looking off into the future. We built a fire station, it's like, we don't have to be doing this every 5 years. But my experience with computer equipment is, you're talking 7 years down the road. That's 5 lifetimes in the computer world. You buy a laptop now, these laptops here, 2 years from now, they're gonna be like toys.
I would agree the laptops aren't made to last 5 to 7 years. You can buy laptops that are 5 to 7 years. My laptop is going on 5 years next summer. It's an HP EliteBook 840, so it's definitely an enterprise class laptop, but we maintain it, we repair it, we take care of it. When it comes to the servers and the firewall, I don't hesitate to say that those are built to last 5 to 7 years, especially if you spec them out correctly. That being said too, you can always add more horsepower to them as well. Like right now I have it set up with 32 gigs of RAM, which is plenty for what this organization needs. If we expand double the employment on here, I can always put more RAM in there and make it faster. BPI providing the server as well. We also do provide third-party warranty when that server goes out of warranty. So once it becomes 3 years old, we still take care of the hardware for a fee every year. I believe that particular server would be $500 a year for us to just take care of everything on it. If it dies, we fix it. So we put protections in place for you that those things last a long time. We put servers in all over Northeast Ohio. These servers will last 5 to 7 years. It's not going to be an issue. I have no problem sitting here saying that. I'm not going to say that ProBook 450 laptop is going to last 5 years, but the server, the firewall, the switch, I have no problem sitting here and saying that networking equipment will last 5 years.
What about the desktop computers?
Desktops, I would feel confident for 5 years on. Desktops are just built a little bit better than laptops. And if it would make you feel better too, for $100 a desktop, I'll put a 5-year warranty on it. Our guys will take care of everything for 5 years for $100 per desktop. One time charge of $100, we'll take care of it for 5 years.
That seems the best deal so far.
Yeah.
I would mark that down.
Yes.
Any other questions for Brandon? Dan, any comments, or how you feel about it? like to know how you.
I mean, if there's a concern on cost of laptops versus desktop, I mean, I could, I'm only across the street practically, I could still, I don't need to take a laptop home, I guess.
I would say
prefer- I
laptops
would
are important
prefer
for you and
you
Fred
have-
though.
Alright.
Like based on what you guys are doing,
Yeah.
heaven forbid, say you get snowed in or something, and you can't make it in the office for a day or two.
Alright.
Granted, we're not in Buffalo, but you guys do get quite a bit of snow.
Okay. Anything else for Brandon? Are we gonna hash this over for a while? or-
I think so. I'd like to see that's 10,000 a year annual maintenance.
Yes, we gotta have to have that up
So
front.
I'd like to see that.
Go ahead and put that extended warranty on there also, if you would, just.
Okay, I do ask that you be a little flexible with me in terms of the hardware costs too. Vendors are constantly changing stuff around, especially with the end of the year coming, and I'm not trying to put a rush on you guys at all with stuff, I'm just being upfront. If a vendor starts changing pricing on me, getting close to the end of the year, I'm gonna try to honor this pricing the best I can with stuff.
Well, I think
But
what we'll
things-
do is, if we go with this,
Make a
we can
decision.
come back and give you a week to say, okay, we're going to look at this at the next meeting, give us a final price so we
Gotcha,
can.
okay, that's fair,
So I
absolutely.
think that'd be the fairest for everybody involved.
You nail down the monitors too then.
What's that?
You can nail down what you want for monitors
Yeah.
at the same time.
Oh, yeah, 6 versus
Oh,
8.
okay.
Yeah, because you'll notice, I mean, if you have my old quote versus this one, the only thing that's changed so far, we've had a lot of changes on this, but I've absorbed a lot of stuff, just to be fair, because we haven't talked yet. On the first page, the HP switch did go up, I think it was like $100 or $150. HP raised their prices, and I was actually below my current cost. I can't sell it for that, so I had allocated. But I think that's fair if you say, hey, we've met with this, or we're meeting in a week, give me the final version, we can do that.
Okay. Very good.
Gene,
Yes.
I got one question for you, Brandon. You obviously deal with other governments and stuff. Do you have any problems with the prosecutors and your contracts? Because our prosecutor's gonna wanna look at your contract.
I feel every attorney has a problem with their contracts, which we can be flexible on. I mean, every government wants to change something. As long as you're flexible with us, we're flexible with you. When it comes to things, there are certain things we're not gonna remove that they're not gonna like. It's more protection for us, like there's clauses in there that you can't steal our employees. I know we've actually had, larger corporations say, well, no, we don't want this in there. We can't steal our employees. So,
I don't think we'll be stealing any of your employees anytime soon.
you'd be surprised, everybody, I've come across a lot of companies that you wouldn't suspect, and next thing you know, they try to say, hey, we want to buy the guy off you, and it just doesn't work for us. But, we can be flexible with the prosecutor, but I will say, if you have an attorney review the master services agreement, they will probably draw some circles around it, just because that's what lawyers do with everything.
Do.
Yeah.
Do we have that?
Yeah.
So we could get that process going possibly if we.
Well, if the board decides to go that route, yeah.
I know we've been dealing with the prosecutor on another contract, and one thing they're firm about is, I guess Ohio law doesn't allow municipalities have any indemnification clauses in the contract, so, yeah. So that vendor took that out.
We could be, be
Yeah.
flexible with you as best we can. We'll review it with our attorneys as well, and we'll try to come to a quick compromise with stuff.
The length of the contract too, especially the maintenance, the monthly maintenance, that's always been something the prosecutor's office has been
Everything I've
concerned
priced
with.
out right now is just for 1 year.
Okay, yeah, that's
From a
pretty
managed
much what they
services.
prefer up there.
And I understand with you working with BPI for the first time, I wouldn't want you to sign more than 1 year anyways, just because you need some comfort level with us. And the fire department's only working with us on a 1 year basis right now to make sure that we're doing what we gotta do. So, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah, besides, at the end of 1 year and 1 day, he'll ransom all of our stuff and make us buy it back anyway.
Just said the quiet part out
I
loud.
think you guys work.
All right, thank you so much for coming in.
All right, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Chief Phillips.
Okay, run report. This is, end of October, from the beginning of January. EMS calls, 412. Last year was 412.
Jesus.
Fire calls, 286. Last year was 272. Total calls was 698. Last year was 684. Mutual aid given was 177. Last year was 146. Mutual aid received was received was 45. Last year was 50. Total transports, 293. Last year was 293. Total non-transports, 132. Last year was 154. Total transfer to other agencies, 7. Last year was 2. For a total of 432 versus 449. Our back-to-back calls are running about 20.34%. Year-to-date, we've had 65 double hits and 4 triple hits. Total of 69.
Wait, what do you mean, double hits?
Double hits means we get a call paged out, right behind it's another call. So we're going one place and we gotta go another place at the same time.
And how many triple ones did you say again?
4 of them. Any questions? Okay, moving on. Every year we've been dealing with interfinish for our floor maintenance. Yeah, they come in, they've done a good job managing the building. Since we started with them in 2012, last year they've lowered the price down $15 a month, and they're doing the same this year. So I have a proposal for them for $4,800 even. I'd like to get the board approval to go ahead with them again. They also meet government pricing.
Okay. That's the same contract we've been doing for how many years now,
Yeah.
so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
DJ,
Yes.
Gina, yes. Somebody has to sign that.
And you gonna send it in to them, or you want me to send it in to them?
Have you sent it in the past?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I'll make sure you, why don't you get your copy and put a copy in my mailbox, I'll send it to them.
Okay.
That's it for my report.
Any questions for the chief from the board? Any questions for the chief from the audience? Thank you, chief. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
Okay, Michael S. Troyan.
Okay, just a couple of items. One, if you remember, Alina DeWitt had the project for the butterflies and pollinator garden at the community park. I guess she was had COVID and some other things going on, and that got waylaid, but she's back to good health again. So where we left off is that we were going to find a spot for her to put the garden. Okay, so she's looking at this coming spring, so maybe we get Emmerich input on where a good place to put this would be.
Refresh my memory. She wants to put in a pollinator garden,
Yep.
and who's paying for the pollinator garden?
She is.
By herself?
Yes. She's gonna.
Oh, is this a project? Is
It's
this
the project, yeah.
a Girl Scout project?
Girl
or-
Scout project, yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, the
Yeah,
John
well, she's just-
Foundation
No,
is helping with stuff like this if they need help, but this is her project.
This is her
Okay.
project, and she's, like I said, she was, because of health issues.
Right, okay.
Now she's coming back to us saying, hey, I'm back in the thing, we're shooting
Okay.
for the spring.
Okay.
So we can just, I guess, probably talk to Emmerich, he's probably most familiar with
Right.
where the best place would
Right,
be to,
right. Now it's coming back. Okay.
if it's a pollinating garden, you don't want to put it in the middle of the path,
Right.
because as much as you love bees, they don't.
Well, they just put a huge pollinator garden at Froing Meadows for the Jaga Foundation, which I was a part of, and it was quite a project, and they've always said, any community or group that is interested in doing something like that, they have funds that they will help. If
Well,
you-
maybe we should pass that on to,
Yeah, absolutely,
you know, maybe she can, if she has some financial backing, she
Yeah.
can do a little bigger.
right.
All right. Okay, so, get that taken care of. And the second thing was, the Bedford football team is looking at having their award ceremony. It's gonna be on a Monday night. There's nothing open at the high school that they can use on that night, and they're requesting to use Adam Hall.
Bedford High School?
Kenston.
Oh, Kenston, I think it was
You said-
Bedford.
you
did say
He said
I probably did say Bedford.
You did say Bedford.
I went to Bedford. You say high school, Bedford comes first. No, Kenston.
Who is now the football?
The football.
They're,
yeah,
and your
awards.
banquet
And, well, what we're looking at is, you know, they're looking for a discount. What I'd recommend is what we've done in the past is they can use it for free, but they pay for cleaning and, we have to have a
Yeah, a hall run.
hall rep, hall manager. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes,
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
and that was all I had.
Okay. Patrick J. Kavanaugh.
Yeah, actually, everything I have to talk about is already on the agenda, so I'm just gonna
Just
pass it
gonna wait
over
till
to
we
you.
get to,
Yeah.
okay. Well, the only things I have is, I had a conversation with Emmer today, and the people that removed the trees for us on the first phase of the second part of the cemetery behind a property that we acquired, is sending us an extra $1,000 for the lumber they took out of there. You remember there was an amount they had sent, and he called Emmerich today and he said, for what we got, we're going to send you another $1,000.
Huh.
So, that was kind of sweet.
Which is
And,
all gonna have to happen anyway.
Right.
We're gonna have,
right,
send the roads back in
Right.
there.
and the second thing I have is we are complete with Hess. We have our letters written. I believe I think I signed the letter today for the final letter to go to Shane at the Western Reserve Land Conservancy, and we should be done with this. Finally.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. And other than that, that's all I have.
I guess that's me.
I figured you wanted to finish writing that.
All right,
And now Dan,
let's see, bear with me.
take your time.
Resolution, I guess. Resolution 2022-39 for supplemental appropriations. Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jaga County, Ohio, met in regular session on the 21st day of November 2022. Present were Eugene McCune, Patrick J. Kavanaugh, Michael S. Troy. I have to, somebody move for the adoption of the following.
Do you want to read
I
the
read it
resolution first?
Yeah, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Jogga County, Ohio, that it is necessary to adopt the following. $260 supplemental appropriation to general fund town halls account 1,120-341 for telephone expense for remainder of 2022 calendar. $60 supplemental appropriation to general fund zoning account 1,130-341 telephone expense for remainder of 2022 calendar year. $1,090 supplemental appropriation to general other account 1,690-341 telephone expense for remainder of 2022 calendar year. $6,000 supplemental appropriation to special levy fire account 2191-120-351 electricity expense for remainder of 2022 calendar year.
So we need someone to make that motion. I'll make the motion. Move to adopt resolution 2022-39 for supplemental appropriations.
I'll second.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
All right, I think the rest of this is part of
Okay.
old business.
All right, so we'll move into old business, and again, I've already talked about the conservation amendment, that has come to an end, we'll finish with that. And PJ, I'll let you take the rest of it.
Yeah, brought it up at the last meeting that a few hours prior to the meeting, we were in receipt of a request of change order to the Stafford Road project. Emmerich and I went over everything, and we had several questions. We contacted our county engineer, and he sent very thorough, a lot of numbers there, almost as many numbers as the computer thing, description of what has happened and why that change order came in. The asphalt index was always part of it. When they did this, there's a rider to these bids, of course, this project was to have been completed in 2021. We as a board at the time, a little over a year ago, postponed that project into 2022 just based on the conditions and the time of year. Asphalt went up substantially after that, and we knew that this was subject to a revision on that. There was also some additional excavation work that the contractor submitted claims that the excavation was necessary in the amount of almost 4,400 cubic yards at 1,500 a cubic yard, at $15 a cubic yard, or 65,000 plus 65.5. The county found that that was quite extensive and probably not justified, so they came back with a settled price of $12,000 on that additional excavation, or $12,000. All right. So the total change order that our engineer agreed to amounts to $73,000 and something. Where is it here?
73,
401.
792, 79.
70, okay. All right, so we have paid, the original contract was $916 with a early on change order, involved some drainage at the peak of the hill for like $3,800, which brought that contract to $920, $320.24. We have paid them at this point $889, $048, 59 cents, and tonight's change order is in addition to that. So that's the $73,000. The final pay, per our engineer, the grant has been fully invoiced, the OPWC grant that we got for that project, $300,000. We have paid $589, $048 and 59 cents. The total project per this change order that I'm about to make a motion about takes the total project cost to $974,449.88, leaving a balance of $85,401.29. There's a lot to root through here, but this letter came in. We asked Shane at the engineer's office, and we carbon copied Joe Cattell and Rachel Formica, who was the remaining engineer on the job. We lost one of our engineers, left the engineer's office 2/3 of the way through this project. And Shane came in with this explanation of what's happened here. I had to read it twice before I followed it, I'll be honest with you.
I get it, but we
Yeah.
don't have any choice.
We don't.
That's the bottom line.
We don't. It's,
Suck it up, make the motion,
Yeah.
I'll second it.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
so I want to approve the change order number 4 to the Stafford Road project, which will make the final cost of this project that $974,449.88.
I'll second it.
Mike,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this by motion too, because after all this accounting, we might as well include it in the minutes. I'm gonna make a recommendation that the board follow the engineer's advice and pay the final payment, full balance of $85,401.29
Second.
to close out the project.
Second.
See, Mike didn't want you out there dangling in the wind like
This
Mike,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
I know it goes against everything you stand for,
As all of us.
but you had to do it.
Yeah. There's an old saying about Vaseline, but I'm not even gonna bring that up. It's just-
Yeah, I gotta think that we might not have that contractor along anytime soon. And there might be a few other people feel the same way. you
I'm
know.
sure. Okay. Change order, so we did that. And we did the GC final, okay. Hold on, payroll services quote contract.
All right, that's the item we brought to the board, I believe, last time,
Right.
for a third-party payroll processor, and there was some discussion as to the contract and service agreement. So we sent it to the prosecutor office, and it went back and forth, and they took out
To him, yes.
the company, a holder, took out those clauses that the prosecutor felt shouldn't be in there, the indemnification clauses, and then there was a couple things that Kristen wanted added.
Okay.
And we got that back from her today, approved, as to form.
Okay.
So I guess it's a matter of whether we accept it or not. If we're at a point now where we've got 6 to 8 weeks between now and the first payroll in January, where if we're going to use them, that we probably should.
I'd say we should just go ahead with it. The price didn't seem unreasonable, and the service seems like it will benefit us, so,
Is that a motion?
yes.
I'll second it.
Mike,
Yes.
TJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. You guys marking this down, we're spending some money tonight. Okay. Easy sign quote. Go ahead.
Let's see, we built the sign that's up at Adam Hall now, and I think I reported it one time that it looked like it got vandalized or hit by a car. It was not, it just rotted out. The sign itself was built over a wood frame of untreated wood, and saw enough moisture over the years that it rotted. We did get a quote to repair what's there with a treated wood base. Basically, I take the whole thing apart, build a new frame, put it back together. I think that was for $2,800, which sounded pretty extreme. So Nancy went out and got quotes from the people that made the Welcome to Auburn signs that we put up a few years ago.
Do you see lights in this?
No, we don't have any
We have no
layer
way to
in,
do it?
we don't have a way to backlight it. We light it from, and we did some research on this too. It's, when you turn the east parking lot lights on,
Yeah,
that's where this is live.
okay.
So, and it's uplit from the ground, both sides.
Okay,
Probably adequate. I don't see having to do any electrical rewiring.
yeah, the Welcome to Auburn signs are beautiful, and they, I think they highlight the township. Do I hear a motion for this?
Well, we have to decide which one we like.
I thought it was all one.
Nope, there's two different ones here, on page 2 here.
What, is that,
A
oh, the gray or the?
Gray option,
Oh,
Well,
white
there's-
base.
Well, the bait, it's, look at these two pictures, Gene. These are the main design differences. There's the one that looks like a headstone and the one that looks like a sign.
Is it facing east? Who's the only one who got that?
I got it.
I was gonna say, it's east and west, we're in good shape.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice that. I like the second one better.
So do
I don't like the headstone one.
Which gets it up a little higher, it looks like probably.
Yeah. Maybe not.
The
but
stonework's gonna stay there.
I don't like the gray one at all.
Well, I think we can approve the price is the same. The one thing, I remember we had one comment on the existing Adam Hall sign with the gold lettering, that there wasn't enough contrast between the address and the name, so we might just want to keep that in mind when we're picking our last things, and make it a little hard to see.
Okay, well, I like the bottom one the best.
Yeah, I like that, the color, I think we should leave that to,
This one here, you mean?
yeah.
This one,
I
yeah.
would say that too. I would say that.
With the colored posts.
Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
okay. Is there a motion?
Manufacturer provide any warranties or, you know, any?
Gosh,
any
that sign,
time-
that sign's been there
Well, yeah.
well over 10 years now, so this is made out of urethane. The new one, this
Okay.
one we're looking at.
Okay.
I think that this had a,
High density urethane. Yeah, I like that one.
So it would be the design option 2, non-gray colored posts, not white posts.
Design option 2.
White post.
With white posts?
Oh. This one.
Yeah, well,
It's
that's
all
all.
white posts.
Okay, I got another page. then.
design option 2 here, would be with white posts.
This one, the one on the first page.
He's got a different one than I got. You have a different one than I
Well,
got.
this is basically the same one, except with white posts versus the,
I don't like the white posts. I think it should be the same as the sign. What do you think?
okay, I can go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, it says, yeah, design option 2, and
You have a different one than I got. He does. I see what he's looking
You
at.
like this one?
I don't have that one, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. is
Yeah,
this one.
that one.
Yeah.
okay, that one.
That one.
You like that one.
I like that one.
Okay, it's got the white lettering on the back background, that'll give us the
Right.
contrast we need.
Is there a motion? I'll make the motion to accept design option 2 with the pillars the same color as the sign for $10,479 installed.
I'll second. After the computer, that doesn't seem like that much money.
No?
Mike,
Yes.
EJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. Okay, Otarma Board of Directors ballot, term 2023 through 2027, nominate two of the three. Does anybody know any of these people?
No, I do not.
And so, Do we flip a coin?
None of them are even close to here, so,
Tip City,
yeah.
Mount Eaton, and where? Canton.
Now, if this was an election and I was voting, I wouldn't vote this one, and then the flashing light would go off that I undervoted,
Right.
yeah.
As a current board and past chairman of the town of board is what goes. Okay, so she's worked for Otarma. She's the past chairman of Otarma. And let's see, this guy, for the past year, I've served as chairman of the Otarma Board of Directors and I've been a member of the board for 4 years. And this guy, I've been involved in public service for over 20 years. I find quality risk management programs are essential. So this is Bradley Herman, he's just trying to get in. The other two sit on the board.
Let's go with the experience, what do you think?
So you want to go with Philip Cox and
Joyce,
Miss
Fetzer, Martin.
Joyce Fetzer Martin. Is that what we're doing?
These are nominations,
Yeah, that's good.
okay.
Is there a form for us to fill out on this? I didn't see it.
Right there.
Okay. So we're going with Philip and Joyce, is that what we're saying?
Yep.
Well, these are official ballots, so this is an election.
I just gave them I just checked off the official ballot,
This is not a
and
nomination.
we're done. Okay. Anything from the board?
No, I mean, you're right, we've had good experience with Otarma, they've been responsive to everything that we call them. So why rock the boat?
All right, that's done. I don't think we need a vote yes, it's just the nominees, we checked them off and they'll be mailed back in. Is there anyone from the public tonight that would like to address the board on anything? How to thaw out your turkey, how to make the giblet gravy, anything? Carl, nothing?
Point of order, if they have like a 20 to 24 pound turkey, it's too
Yes.
late to thaw in the refrigerator.
It is, mine's been in since Saturday, so.
Yeah, thank you. Has there been any discussion or any thought or decision made on the possibility of there being a community picnic this year?
Yeah, actually, yeah, we mentioned that, and it's, I gotta say Nancy picked right up on it. We're looking at September again, second or third weekend in September.
That's right after the fair?
Yeah, we're trying to miss, after the fair,
Land bank comes in.
you probably already talked to her.
Why
about
would
that,
we have a
didn't you?
summer picnic in September? Why wouldn't it be in
I'm
July
not sure why,
or
we did it,
June?
we did it for the 3-4 years pre-COVID, was in September when we
Okay.
did those. So,
What do you think about September?
Whatever
When
works
would you like to
conven-
do it, Carl?
Come on, Carl, you brought it
It's
up.
in your backyard, you
Excuse
should have
me,
some say in this.
I'm trying to address the chairman. There's been a couple of people that have spoken to me about how great they thought it was, and they wish we would do it again. And so I thought I might just ask and see if there was a definite no, then I would tell them no. But being that there is that possibility, I think that that would make them feel pretty good. And in regards to the interrupter, I will be more than happy to provide the services that I did last year, which was our last time. I didn't provide no services. I borrowed a wagon and I pulled my tractor and I pulled people around, and they enjoyed it. Took
I
in the
enjoyed it,
wildlife
Carl.
we saw that day.
I went for 2 rides.
Two?
Did you charge him for the second ride?
No,
How about
no.
push him off halfway and let him walk back?
No, I'm waiting to see if he's gonna buy my vote this year.
Yeah. Like the last one? Oh, no, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, we brought it up about a month ago or so, a month and a half ago, and Nancy's actually working on a theme for it. She took right after it, chasing some music, you know, like we had bands there a couple times. I think we had 2 bands there the last one we did. She's talking about food trucks, although the scouts are kind of thinking of it's a good fundraiser opportunity. That's what they did last time, you know, they did, what they
Well,
do,
even-
barbecue pork or something.
Even with the food trucks, though,
It had those.
that didn't seem to interfere with the,
The Boy Scouts?
That's kind of what she's thinking, have the food trucks early and then have them do a scheduled there so they can pre-sale tickets and not
Mhm.
overbuy and make sure they make some
yeah, because
money.
they did pretty well. on that.
Yeah, it's coming along. I'm
So
not
your
gonna-
answer is
yeah, we're not
yes, we are
finished, but-
planning it, we
yeah.
just haven't figured out what and where yet.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to see that you were ahead of the question because one individual, and a couple other ones, but the one is that every once in a while in the conversation, he'll say, you know, that picnic, he says, I sure wish they would do that again. That was really great. So I thought when you said, you know, is there anything else to say? I figured I would say something.
Well, now it's out in the open, and you brought it up, and we appreciate that. So everybody
Well,
knows.
Thank you.
It'll be in
Thank
the
you,
minutes.
Carl. Yep.
Anybody else?
Oh, Dan,
Yeah.
will there be a second payment for November? The latest one is November 7th.
Oh.
I
It's all
I don't know.
back up, right?
You don't know?
Or we got something else?
No, no,
Oh, there's checks.
a whole stack of things I've
All right.
been giving you.
Anything else?
I'll make a motion to adjourn before anybody thinks of anything.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gina.
Yes. Meeting is adjourned. I hope everyone has a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hope you all get to visit family or be close with family and remember why we celebrate the day. Thank you.
Same to you, Dean.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.